In the great halls of the Galactic Union, where 12 alien species had gathered for 10,000 years, there existed a story that elders told to children. It was a story about creatures called humans, soft bodies, short lives. Yet somehow, according to the old texts, they were the most dangerous beings the universe had ever known. Nobody believed these stories anymore. They were just myths, fairy tales, something to make young ones feel brave when the darkness of space felt too big and too empty. Kelvos was a researcher of the Marathi species. His people were tall and thin, with silver skin that glowed softly in the dark. He had spent his whole life studying ancient records, searching for truths hidden in old data files. Most of his colleagues laughed at him. They called him a dreamer, a fool chasing ghosts. But Kelvos knew something they did not. In the deepest archives of Nexus Prime, the capital station of the Galactic Union, he had found something strange. A beacon, an ancient device covered in dust and forgotten by everyone. The symbols on it matched no known species. The language was dead, but the machine still worked. For 3 years, Kelvos studied the beacon in secret. He learned its language piece by piece, and finally, on a night when 2 moons hung over his homeworld, he understood what it was. A signal, a call for help that could reach across the entire galaxy. He should have reported it to the Council. He should have followed proper procedures, but the Void Swarm was coming. Everyone knew it. The hive mind species that consumed entire star systems was moving toward Union space. In 50 years, maybe less, they would arrive, and nobody had a way to stop them. So Kelvos activated the beacon. The signal shot out into the darkness between stars. It traveled through dead space and empty void. It passed regions where no ship had ever gone, and somewhere, impossibly far away, something heard it. On the bridge of the warship Eternal Dawn, a young officer named Yoon Jae-ho sat at her communication station. She was small for a human, with sharp eyes and quick fingers that danced across her controls. When the ancient signal appeared on her screen, she almost ignored it. It looked like noise. Static from a dead star, perhaps. But something made her look closer. She ran the signal through translation programs. Old programs. Programs that humans had not used for thousands of years. And when the words appeared on her screen, her heart stopped. She stood up slowly. Her voice was barely a whisper. "Admiral, Admiral, you need to see this." Admiral Kang Tae-ho turned from the observation window. He was a tall man with gray hair and tired eyes. He had commanded the first expeditionary fleet for 20 years. In all that time, nothing had surprised him. But when he read the translated message, his hands began to shake. "How old is this signal?" he asked. "It was sent 3 days ago, sir," Jae-ho replied. "From the Galactic Union. Coordinates match the Marathi system." The Admiral was quiet for a long moment. Around him, his bridge crew waited. They all knew the stories. Every human child learned them in school. 10,000 years ago, humanity had left known space. They had seen what they were becoming: violent, dangerous, a threat to every species they encountered, so they made a choice. They would leave. They would go far away and build a better civilization, and they would not return until someone needed them. Until someone called. "Contact the fleet," Admiral Kang said. His voice was calm now, steady, the voice of a man who had been waiting his entire life for this moment. "All ships, all crews, we move in 6 hours." Across the dark reaches of human space, 100 warships came alive. Engines that had slept for generations roared with new fire. Crews ran to their stations. Pilots climbed into fighters. Medical teams prepared their equipment. On the Eternal Dawn, Lee Subin stood in the tactical center, watching data flow across her screens. She was the chief tactical officer, known throughout the fleet for her brilliant mind and cold efficiency. Some called her heartless. She preferred the word practical. "The signal came from a species called the Marathi," she reported to the Admiral. "Records indicate they are a peaceful species. Scientists and scholars mostly. They have no significant military force. And the threat, Admiral King asked. Unknown. But if they activated that beacon, they must be desperate. That device was meant for extinction-level emergencies only. The Admiral nodded slowly. He walked to the center of the bridge and looked at the star map hovering in the air. The Galactic Union, 12 species, hundreds of worlds, and somewhere out there, someone was afraid enough to call for help from a species that most believed never existed. How long until we reach their space? He asked. At maximum speed, 18 days, Subin answered. Make it 12. Down in the medical bay, Beek Hana prepared her equipment. She was the chief medical officer, a woman with gentle hands and a will made of iron. She had healed thousands of humans over her career. Now she studied alien biology, learning everything she could about the species they might encounter. Do you think they'll be afraid of us? Asked a young medic working beside her. Hana looked up from her work. She thought about the old stories. Humans were described as monsters in some alien texts, demons who could not be killed, beasts who fought even when broken and bleeding. Probably, she said softly, but that is not why we are going. We are going because they asked for help, and that is what humans do, we help. 18 days felt like 18 years, but finally, the fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Marathi system. Admiral Kang stood on the bridge of the Eternal Dawn and looked at the main view screen. What he saw made his blood run cold. The Marathi homeworld of Velora Prime hung in space like a wounded animal. Great fires burned across its surface. Ships floated dead in orbit, torn apart by weapons fire. And surrounding it all, like a cloud of hungry insects, was the void swarm. Millions of them. Biological ships grown from dark matter and hate. They moved without pattern, without formation. They simply consumed everything in their path. Admiral, Jai-Ho said, her voice shaking slightly. I am receiving transmissions from the surface. They are asking for help. They say their shields will fail in 2 hours. Kang Ti-Ho looked at the nightmare before him. 100 human ships against millions of swarm creatures. The math was impossible. Logic said they should turn back, report what they had seen, return with more ships, more weapons, more everything. But humans had not crossed the galaxy to do the logical thing. All ships, the Admiral said, his voice carrying across the fleet communication channel. This is Admiral Kang. For 10,000 years we waited, we trained, we prepared, they called us legends, they called us myths. They said we did not exist. Today we show them the truth. Today we remind the galaxy what humans are. All ships advance. We have people to save. 100 warships moved forward into the darkness. And for the first time in 10,000 years, humanity returned to the galaxy. The legends had come home. The void swarm had never known fear. For 1,000 years they had consumed star system after star system. They were endless. They were hunger made into living form. Every species they encountered fell before them. Some fought. Some ran. All died. It was the natural order of things. The strong ate the weak. The swarm was strong. Everything else was food. When the human fleet appeared, the swarm did not pause. They simply turned a portion of their forces to face this new meal. 10,000 swarm creatures broke away from the main group and moved toward the 100 human ships. On the bridge of the Eternal Dawn, Lee Subin watched the enemy approach. Her screens showed the enemy numbers clearly. 100 to 1 odds, impossible odds. She felt nothing. Fear was for later. Now was the time for work. Admiral, she said calmly, enemy forces approaching, 10,000 units. Contact in 4 minutes. Admiral Kang Ti-Ho stood at the center of the bridge like a stone in a river. His eyes never left the view screen. Formation Delta. All ships prepare for close combat. Across the fleet, captains received the order and many felt their hearts stop. Close combat against the swarm. At these numbers, it was suicide. But not a single ship turned away. Not a single crew refused the order. Captain Park Dongwoo commanded the destroyer Iron Will. He was a large man with a loud voice and a louder laugh. His crew loved him. His enemies feared him. When he heard the order for close combat, he smiled so wide his face hurt. "You heard the Admiral," he roared across his ship. "We did not come all this way to hide behind shields. All hands, battle stations. Today we show these bugs what humans are made of." The two forces met in a storm of fire and metal. Human ships did not fight like other species. Other species kept distance. They fired from far away and retreated when damaged. They valued survival above all else. They could not understand what happened next. The human ships charged directly into the swarm formation. The Eternal Dawn led the attack, its massive guns firing continuously. Subin coordinated the assault with cold precision, directing fire where it would do the most damage. Around her, the bridge crew worked in perfect silence, each person doing their job without question. The Iron Will flew beside the flagship, Captain Dongwoo's voice booming over the communications channel. "Come on, you ugly creatures. Is that all you have? My grandmother fights harder than this." The swarm creatures were confused. Their enemy was not running. Their enemy was not trying to survive. Their enemy was attacking with a fury that made no sense. Why would any creature choose death? Why would any species fight when defeat was certain? Because humans did not believe in certain defeat. High above the main battle, Na-Uri led Ghost Wing, humanity's most elite fighter squadron. Her small craft danced between swarm creatures, destroying dozens with every pass. She was young, only 25 years old, but she flew like she had been born in space. "Ghost 3, enemy on your tail," she called out. "Break left. Ghost 7, cover him." "Confirmed lead," came the reply. "Breaking left now." Uri pulled her fighter into an impossible turn, spinning past a swarm creature close enough to touch. She fired her weapons and watched the enemy explode. No time to celebrate. Another target, another kill. Keep moving, keep fighting. On the planet below, Kelvos watched the battle through the last working observation station. His silver skin had gone pale with shock. He had activated the beacon hopping for help. He had expected maybe a few ships, a small force, some weapons they could use. He had not expected this. The human ships fought like nothing he had ever seen. They took damage that would destroy any Union vessel and kept fighting. He watched one human cruiser, burning from a dozen wounds, ram directly into a swarm carrier. Both ships exploded. The human crew had chosen death to take the enemy with them. "What are they?" whispered a Marathi soldier standing beside him. Kelvos could not answer. He had read the old texts. He had studied the legends, but nothing had prepared him for the truth. After 2 hours of fighting, the swarm retreated, not because they were defeated, not because they were afraid, but because they were confused. They needed time to understand what was happening. This had never happened before. No species had ever pushed them back. Admiral Kang stood on the damaged bridge of the Eternal Dawn. They had lost 12 ships, over 3,000 humans dead, but they had destroyed over 6,000 swarm creatures. More importantly, they had bought time. "Jai-Ho," he said quietly, "open a channel to the planet." Yoon Jai-Ho worked her controls with shaking hands. She had learned the Marathi language months ago, preparing for this moment. When the channel opened, she took a deep breath and spoke. "People of Velora Prime, this is Yoon Jai-Ho of the human vessel Eternal Dawn. We received your signal. We have come to help. Please respond." For a long moment, there was silence. Then a voice came through, speaking in broken but understandable common language. "Humans, the humans are real." Jai-Ho smiled softly. "Yes, we are real, and we are here. Tell us what you need." On the planet's surface, rescue operations began immediately. Human shuttles flew down through the burning atmosphere, carrying medical supplies and soldiers. Dr. Beek Hana led the medical teams personally, setting up field hospitals in the ruins of Marathi cities. The Marathi people watched in amazement. These humans, these creatures from legend, were not the monsters some texts described. They were gentle with the wounded. They shared their food with hungry children. They put themselves between civilians and danger without hesitation. A young Marathi child, injured and alone, sat crying in the rubble of her home. Hana found her during a search and knelt down slowly, making herself small and non-threatening. "Hello," Hana said softly, using the few Marathi words she knew. "I am a friend. I am here to help. May I see your arm?" The child looked at her with wide, frightened eyes. Hana waited patiently. She did not force. She did not demand. She simply waited, her eyes kind, her hands open and gentle. Slowly, the child extended her injured arm. Hana cleaned the wound carefully, applied healing medicine, and wrapped it in clean bandages. When she finished, she pulled a small chocolate bar from her pocket and offered it to the child. "Sweet," Hana explained with a smile. "Good, try it." The child took a small bite. Her eyes went wide with surprise. She had never tasted anything like it. Hana laughed softly, a warm sound that seemed out of place in all the destruction around them. Kelvos found Hana an hour later, still working among the wounded. He approached her slowly, unsure what to say. "Why?" he finally asked. "Why did you come? Why risk everything for strangers?" Hana looked up from her patient. She was tired. Her hands were covered in blood and medicine, but her eyes were calm. "Because you called," she said simply. "And that is what humans do. When someone needs help, we come. When someone is in pain, we try to heal them. When someone is alone, we stand beside them. This is who we are." Kelvos felt tears forming in his eyes. For years, he had believed in the legends. He had held on to hope when everyone else gave up. And now, standing in the ruins of his world, he understood something important. The legends had not been about monsters. They had been about hope. The swarm would return. Everyone knew it. This was only the first battle, not the war. But for the first time in generations, the people of the Galactic Union did not feel alone. Humans were real, humans had come, and humans did not give up. That night, as fires still burned across Velora Prime, Admiral Kang stood at the observation window of his damaged ship. Subin approached him quietly. "The Council is demanding to meet us," she said. "All 12 species want answers. They want to know who we are, what we want." Kang nodded slowly. "Then we will go to them. We will tell them the truth. We came because they needed us. We will stay because there is work to do. And when the work is done, we will stand beside them as friends, not above them as masters." Subin studied him for a long moment. "And if they do not accept us?" The Admiral smiled. It was a tired smile, but a real one. "Then we will show them day by day, battle by battle, that the legends were wrong about one thing. We are not monsters. We are simply humans, and that, my friend, is enough." Outside the window, the stars burned cold and distant, but they no longer felt so empty. Somewhere out there, the swarm was regrouping. Somewhere out there, more battles waited. But here, in this moment, something had changed. The universe had remembered what humans were. And it would never forget again. Nexus Prime was the largest space station in the galaxy. It floated at the center of Union space like a metal moon, home to millions of beings from all 12 species. Here, the Galactic Council met. Here, decisions were made that affected hundreds of worlds. And here, for the first time in 10,000 years, humans walked among the stars. Ambassador Choi Yunbai stepped onto the station and felt a million eyes turn toward her. She was not what most aliens expected. She was small, with gray hair and a face marked by old scars. She walked with a slight limp, a reminder of battles long past, but her eyes were sharp and her voice was steady. "Ambassador Choi," said a tall alien with blue scales. He was a member of the Carthan species, known for their political skills. "I am Delegate Varos. Welcome to Nexus Prime. The council is eager to meet you. Yunbai nodded politely. Thank you, delegate. I am eager to meet them as well. Behind her, Xin Wujin watched everything with careful eyes. He was the head of human intelligence, a man whose job was to see what others missed. He did not trust the smiling faces around them. He did not trust the polite words. Somewhere in this station, something was wrong. He could feel it. The council chamber was enormous. 12 curved platforms surrounded a central speaking area, each one holding the representatives of a different species. When Yunbai entered, all conversation stopped. Every eye turned to look at the small human woman walking toward the center. She stood in the light and faced them without fear. Members of the Galactic Council, she began, her voice calm and clear. My name is Choi Yunbai. I speak for humanity. I know you have questions. I will answer them honestly. A representative from the Velkari species, a creature that looked like a walking tree, spoke first. Why did humans leave? Where have you been for 10,000 years? Yunbai was quiet for a moment. Then she spoke the truth that every human learned as a child. We left because we were dangerous. 10,000 years ago, humanity was violent. We fought ourselves. We destroyed our planet. We spread that destruction to others. Our ancestors looked at what we were becoming and made a choice. We would leave. We would go far away and learn to be better. We would not return until we had earned the right. Whispers spread through the chamber. And you believe you have earned that right now? Asked a Marathi delegate. No, Yunbai said simply. We do not believe we have earned anything, but someone called for help, and we could not ignore that call. Earning trust comes after. First, we had to answer. The Carthan delegate, Varos, leaned forward. Some among us fear you have come to conquer, to rule. Yunbai looked at him with tired eyes. Delegate Varos, humanity has learned one truth above all others. Power over others is poison. It destroys those who hold it and those who suffer under it. We did not cross the galaxy to repeat old mistakes. We came to stand beside you, not above you. While Yunbai spoke to the council, Xin Wujin worked in the shadows. He had noticed strange patterns in Union communications, messages that disappeared, data that did not match. He followed these threads carefully, never revealing his interest. On his third day at Nexus Prime, he found what he was looking for. Deep in the station's lower levels, in a section marked for storage, Wujin discovered a hidden communication array. It was sending encrypted signals toward swarm-controlled space. Someone in the Union was feeding information to the enemy. He did not confront them, not yet. Instead, he traced the signals back to their source. The trail led him to places he did not expect: High Council members, military commanders, species representatives. The corruption ran deeper than anyone knew. He reported his findings to Admiral Kang in a secure communication. The swarm has allies here, he said quietly. People who want the Union to fall. They believe the swarm can be controlled, bargained with. They are wrong, but they are powerful. Kang's face was hard. Do we have evidence? Not enough, not yet, but I am close. In the medical quarter of Nexus Prime, Dr. Bikhana established humanity's first cross-species hospital. Aliens who had never met a human before came to her, frightened and suspicious. She treated them all the same, with patience and care. A Marathi mother brought her sick child to Hana, desperate and crying. The child had a disease that Marathi medicine could not cure. He was dying. Hana examined the child carefully. She ran tests. She studied the results, and then she prepared a treatment. This medicine is based on human biology, she explained to the mother. I have modified it for your son's species. There is risk. I will not lie to you, but without treatment he will not survive. With treatment there is hope. The mother looked at her dying child. She looked at this strange alien woman offering help, and she made her choice. Save my son, please. Hana worked through the night. She adjusted dosages. She monitored vital signs. She fought for that child's life with everything she had. and as the station's artificial sun rose, the child's fever broke. He opened his eyes and smiled. The mother fell to her knees, crying with joy. Hana helped her up gently. He will need rest, he will need care, but he will live. Word spread through Nexus Prime. The human doctor had saved a child that everyone said was dead already. More patients came. Then more. Hana trained local doctors in human medical techniques. She shared knowledge freely, holding nothing back. "Why?" asked one alien doctor. "This knowledge is valuable. You could trade it. You could use it for power." Hana shook her head. "Knowledge that is not shared is knowledge that is wasted. We do not keep secrets that could save lives." Meanwhile, Ambassador Choi faced opposition from multiple directions. Some Union species feared human strength. Others were angry that humans had hidden for so long while the galaxy suffered. And some, Yunbai suspected, were connected to the traitors Wu Jin was hunting. A delegate from the Corson species approached her after one difficult council session. He was aggressive, his words sharp. "You humans think you are better than us. You think you can save everyone, but you are just animals, violent creatures pretending to be civilized." Yunbai looked at him calmly. She could see the fear behind his anger. She understood it even if she did not share it. "You are correct," she said quietly. "We are violent. We have killed more of our own kind than any species in the galaxy. We have destroyed worlds, including our own. We know exactly what we are capable of." She stepped closer, her eyes never leaving his. "That is why we are careful. That is why we hesitate to use force. Because we know better than anyone the cost of violence. We carry that weight every day. It is heavy, but we carry it because we must." The delegate had no response. He turned and walked away. That night, Wu Jin brought his complete evidence to the admiral and the ambassador. The traitors included 3 high-ranking council members and dozens of military officers. They called themselves the Path Forward. They believed that by feeding information to the swarm, they could guide the invasion. They thought they could survive by being useful. They were fools. "We take this to the council?" Yunbai asked. Wu Jin shook his head. "Not yet. If we move too soon, the biggest targets will escape. We need to catch them all at once." Admiral Kang studied the data. His face was grim. "There is more here. Look at these coordinates. They are sending the swarm details about Union defensive positions, but they are also receiving data. Here." He pointed to a section of encrypted text. When decoded, it revealed something that changed everything. The swarm had a central consciousness, a brain, a single point of control that directed the entire hive mind, and it was located in a region called the Dead Zone, a part of space so dangerous that no ship had ever returned from it. "If we destroy this consciousness," Kang said slowly, "the swarm falls." "But reaching it is impossible," Wu Jin replied. Kang looked up. His eyes were calm. "We are humans. We do not believe in impossible. We only believe in difficult. And difficult is what we do best." Yunbai looked at the map showing the Dead Zone. It was a journey that would likely kill them all. A mission that should not be attempted. A goal that could not be reached. She smiled. "Then we go when?" Kang returned the smile. "Soon. First we deal with the traitors, then we prepare the fleet, then we end this war." Outside the window, the stars of the Galactic Union burned in the endless dark. Somewhere out there, the enemy waited. Somewhere out there, answers waited. And somewhere, deep in the most dangerous place in the galaxy, the key to victory waited for someone brave enough to reach it. Humans had come to the galaxy as legends. Now they would become something more. The fleet gathered at the edge of known space. 60 human warships and 40 Union vessels, all painted with the colors of their species, all prepared for a journey from which they might never return. The Dead Zone waited ahead, a region of space so dangerous that even its name made experienced pilots go pale. Admiral Kang Ti-ho stood on the bridge of the Eternal Dawn and looked at the darkness ahead. Beside him, Lee Subin ran final checks on tactical systems. Her face showed nothing, but Kang knew her well enough to see the tension in her shoulders. "Fleet is ready, Admiral," she reported. "All ships report green status. The Union vessels are nervous, but they are holding." "They should be nervous," Kang replied quietly. "So should we. Nervous keeps you alive." He turned to face his crew. "All hands, this is the Admiral. We are about to enter the dead zone. Our mission is simple. Reach the swarm nexus. Destroy the consciousness controlling the hive mind. End this war." He paused. "The dead zone has never been crossed. Ships have entered and never returned. But we are not those ships. We are humanity. We do not stop. We do not surrender. We do not turn back. Whatever waits for us in that darkness, we will face it together. And we will win." Across the fleet, crews cheered. Human and alien voices mixed together, united by purpose and hope. "All ships," Kang ordered, "advance." The first hour was quiet. The dead zone lived up to its name. No signals, no energy readings, nothing but empty blackness stretching in every direction. The silence was worse than noise. It pressed against the mind like a weight. Then the anomalies began. Gravity waves hit the fleet without warning. Ships were thrown in different directions. A Union cruiser was crushed instantly, folded in half by invisible forces. Another vessel simply vanished, pulled into a dimension that human science could not explain. "Evasive patterns," Subin shouted. "All ships, random motion, do not follow predictable paths." The fleet became chaos. Ships twisted and turned, dodging threats they could not see. Nayuri led Ghost Wing through the maze of death, her instincts keeping her alive where instruments failed. "Ghost 4 is gone," came a voice over the radio. Gravity well caught him. He never had a chance. Yuri gritted her teeth. "Keep moving. Do not stop. Do not think. Just fly." Behind the fighters, Captain Park Dongwoo pushed the iron will to its limits. His ship was old, built for close combat rather than careful navigation. Every hit it took shook the entire vessel. Panels sparked. Lights flickered, but the ship held. "Come on, old girl," Dongwoo muttered, patting his console. "Just a little further. You can do this." The ship groaned as if in answer, but it kept moving. After 6 hours, the fleet emerged from the first layer of the dead zone. They had lost 15 ships, 3,000 souls gone in an instant. Admiral Kang felt each death like a wound, but he could not stop. Not now. Too many depended on them reaching their goal. Yoon Jae-ho worked at her communication station, trying to reach Union Command. "No signal, Admiral. We are too deep. We are on our own." Kang nodded. He had expected this. "Continue forward." The second layer was worse. Radiation storms swept through space, cooking ships from the inside. Crews watched their friends die, helpless to stop it. The Union vessels suffered most. Their shields were not built for this level of punishment. A Marathi captain named Talvar contacted the Eternal Dawn. His voice was calm, but Kang could hear the fear beneath it. "Admiral Kang, my shields are failing. We cannot continue." Kang looked at the tactical display. Talvar's ship was positioned at the edge of the formation, absorbing the worst of the radiation. "Can you move to the center of the fleet?" Kang asked. "Our ships can shield you." "Negative. If we move, the radiation will hit the vessels behind us directly. They will die." Talvar was quiet for a moment. "Admiral, my crew and I knew the risks. We came anyway. Let us do this final service. Remember us." The channel went dead. On the tactical display, Talvar's ship exploded as its reactor overloaded. But behind it, 12 other vessels survived because of his sacrifice. Subin's voice was soft. "He saved them." "Yes," Kang said. "He did. Add his name to the memorial list. His sacrifice will not be forgotten." They pushed deeper. More ships were lost. More lives ended. But the fleet kept moving, drawn forward by hope and duty. On the third day, they found the swarm. Millions of creatures filled the space ahead. They had been waiting. They had known the fleet was coming. The traitors had done their work well. All ships battle formation, Kang ordered. Prepare for combat. What followed was the worst battle of the war. Human ships threw themselves into the swarm with desperate fury. Alien vessels fought beside them, dying beside them. The darkness filled with fire and death. Na Yuri flew until her fighters' weapons were empty, then flew until her fuel ran dry. She crashed her craft into a swarm carrier, ejecting at the last moment. A Union rescue ship pulled her from space, barely alive. Captain Dongwu and the Iron Will led charge after charge into the enemy formation. His ship was falling apart around him. His crew was dying, but he would not stop. "Admiral," he called over the radio, "there is a gap in their formation. If someone punches through, they can reach the nexus, but the gap will not stay open long." Kang looked at the tactical display. Dongwu was right. The gap was there, but it was closing. A ship would have to sacrifice itself to keep it open. "Captain Park, hold your position. I am sending reinforcements." Dongwu laughed. It was the loud, bright laugh that his crew knew so well. "No time, Admiral. My ship is dying anyway. Let us die for something." His voice softened. "Tell my daughter I love her. Tell her I am sorry I could not come home." Dongwu, wait. The Iron Will accelerated into the gap. Swarm creatures surrounded it, tearing at its hull. Dongwu's ship fired everything it had, destroying enemies on all sides. For 5 precious minutes, he held the gap open. "Go, Admiral," Dongwu shouted. "Go now, this is my gift to you." The eternal dawn shot through the gap, followed by the remaining fleet. Behind them, the Iron Will exploded in a flash of light that blinded sensors for 100 kilometers. Captain Park Dongwu was gone, but his sacrifice had opened the path. Ahead, the swarm nexus appeared. It was enormous, a moon-sized structure made of organic material and dark energy. Inside it, the consciousness of the entire hive mind waited. Inside it, according to Wu Jin's intelligence, something else waited too. "Admiral," Jai-Ho said suddenly, "I am detecting a signal from inside the nexus. It is weak, but it is definitely there. Someone is alive in there." Kang leaned forward. "A survivor?" "I do not know, but whoever it is, they have been broadcasting for a very long time. Thousands of years, maybe longer." Su Bin frowned. "It could be a trap." "It could be," Kang agreed. "But we came here to destroy the consciousness controlling the swarm. If there is a chance to save an innocent life as well, we must take it." He turned to face his crew. They were exhausted. They had lost friends. They had watched good people die. But when he looked into their eyes, he saw no fear, only determination. "Dr. Beak," he said over the internal channel, "prepare a ground team. We are going inside." Hana's voice came back immediately. "Already prepared, Admiral. I will be joining the team personally." "Doctor, I cannot ask you to." "You are not asking. I am volunteering. If there is someone alive in there, they will need medical attention. That is my job." Kang smiled despite everything. "Very well, prepare the assault shuttles. We go in 1 hour." Around the Nexus, the battle continued. Human and alien ships died to protect the Eternal Dawn. Inside the flagship, soldiers checked their weapons. Medics gathered their supplies, and in her quarters, Hana looked at a photograph of her family back on Earth. "I will come home," she whispered. "I promise." Outside the window, the Nexus waited, dark, massive, terrifying. Inside it, the consciousness of the swarm watched the approaching fleet with something almost like curiosity. In all its existence, no one had ever come this far. No one had ever tried. Perhaps it thought, these humans were finally worthy enemies. It prepared to receive them. The assault shuttles broke through the Nexus membrane like bullets through flesh. Inside, the world was nightmare. Walls made of living tissue, air that smelled of death, sounds that no human ear was meant to hear. Admiral Kang Ti-ho led the ground team personally, his weapon raised. his eyes scanning the organic corridors ahead. Behind him came 50 of humanity's best soldiers, and among them walked Dr. Hana, her medical bag clutched tight against her chest. "The signal is coming from the center," Jaiho reported through the radio. Her voice was broken by interference, barely readable. 2 kilometers ahead. "But Admiral, the swarm knows you are there. They are coming." Kang nodded. "We expected that. Keep the fleet alive, Su-bin. We will handle things here." The creatures came from everywhere, from the walls, from the floor, from openings that appeared without warning. They were smaller than the spaceborne swarm, built for close combat. They had claws and teeth and too many eyes. The humans met them with fire and steel. Kang fought at the front, his weapon cutting down enemies before they could reach his team. Beside him, soldiers fell and others took their place. They moved forward step by bloody step, leaving a trail of dead creatures behind them. A young soldier named Kim Yi-min took a wound to his leg. He fell, screaming. Hana was beside him instantly, her hands already working to stop the bleeding. "Stay still," she commanded. "You are going to be fine." "Doctor, leave me," Yi-min gasped. "The mission is more important." Hana looked at him with fierce eyes. "Do not tell me what is important. You are important. Now hold still." She stabilized him in under a minute. 2 soldiers lifted him between them, carrying him forward. No one was left behind. That was the rule. That was the human way. After an hour of fighting, they reached the center of the nexus. What they found there stopped them all cold. A chamber of vast size opened before them. In the center hung a creature unlike anything they had seen. It was enormous, a mass of tissue and light and energy. The consciousness of the entire swarm, the brain that controlled millions. But that was not what made them stop. Floating in a tube of pale liquid connected to the consciousness by thousands of wires and tubes was a being. It was not human. It was not any species the Union knew. It was ancient, older than any civilization still alive. And it was aware. Eyes opened. Old, tired eyes that had seen more years than any mind should bear. They looked at the humans with something that might have been hope. Hana stepped forward before anyone could stop her. She approached the tube slowly, her hands open and empty. "Can you hear me?" she asked softly. "I am a doctor. I am here to help." The creature's mouth moved. No sound came out, but a voice appeared in their minds, weak and broken. "Help, please, trapped so long made this thing, could not control it, punished me. Used me, please." Hana felt tears form in her eyes. This being had created the swarm thousands of years ago, perhaps as a weapon, perhaps as a mistake, and when it lost control, the swarm had captured its creator and used them as a power source, a living battery for the hive mind. "Admiral," Hana said, her voice shaking, "we cannot destroy the nexus while they are connected. It will kill them." Kang studied the chamber. Around him, his soldiers held defensive positions as more swarm creatures approached. They had minutes at most before they were overwhelmed. "Can we disconnect them?" he asked. "Die if disconnected," suddenly the voice said. "System is integrated. Need time, need slow process." "We do not have time," Subin's voice came through the radio. "Admiral, our fleet is being destroyed. We cannot hold much longer." Kang faced an impossible choice. Destroy the nexus and end the war, killing an innocent being who had already suffered more than anyone should, or try to save them and risk losing everything. He looked at Hana. He saw the question in her eyes. Then he made his decision. "We find another way," he said firmly. "Wu-jin, are you receiving this?" Shin Wu-jin's voice came through, calm as always. "Yes, Admiral. I have been analyzing the consciousness network. There is a control node separate from the prisoner. If we destroy it, the link breaks without killing them. But someone would have to reach it manually." "Where?" "Deeper in the structure, past heavy swarm resistance. Survival probability is very low." Kang nodded. I will go myself, maintain the defensive line here. Admiral, no, Hana caught his arm. You are needed to lead the fleet, let me go. Doctor, that is not your job. My job is to save lives, all lives. She met his eyes without flinching. This being has been tortured for thousands of years. If there is a chance to end their suffering without killing them, I will take it. This is what I do. This is who I am. Before Kang could argue, another voice cut in. It was Na Yurai. She had recovered enough to fly again, and her small rescue craft had followed the ground team into the nexus. I will take her, Yurai said. My craft is fast. We can reach the control node while you hold the line. Give us 15 minutes. Kang looked at the two women. Both were determined. Both knew they might not survive. 10 minutes, he said finally. I cannot give you more. Yurai grinned. 10 is enough. Let us go, doctor. Hana squeezed Kang's hand briefly. Whatever happens, tell the galaxy what we found here. Tell them the swarm was created by pain and sustained by cruelty. Maybe they will understand. Then she was gone, running toward Yurai's craft. The next 10 minutes were the longest of Kang's life. He fought with his soldiers, holding the chamber against waves of swarm creatures. Men and women died around him. He took wounds. He kept fighting. In the fleet above, Su Bin commanded with cold precision. The Eternal Dawn took hit after hit, its shields failing, its hull cracking. But it did not retreat. None of them did. Come on, Su Bin whispered, watching the clock. Come on, Hana, do it. Deep in the nexus, Yurai flew like she had never flown before. Her craft twisted through passages that should have been too narrow, dodged attacks that should have killed her. Behind her, Hana held on and prayed. They found the control node in a chamber of pure darkness. It was a mass of organic circuitry, pulsing with evil energy. Hana jumped from the craft before it fully landed. Cover me, she shouted. Yurai drew her sidearm and fired at approaching creatures while Hana worked. The doctor was not a soldier, but she was brilliant. She analyzed the node, found its weakness, and began the disconnection sequence. How long? Yurai demanded, shooting another creature. 3 minutes, maybe 2. We do not have 2 minutes. Hana worked faster. Her hands flew across organic controls. She made adjustments she had never learned, guided by instinct and desperation. The creatures closed in. Yurai ran out of ammunition. She drew a knife. Doctor, whatever you are doing, do it now. Hana found the final connection. She grabbed it with both hands and pulled with all her strength. The node went dark. Across the entire nexus, the swarm screamed. The consciousness shattered like glass. Millions of creatures across the galaxy suddenly lost their connection to the hive mind. They became confused, lost, harmless. In the central chamber, Kang watched the creatures stop attacking. They wandered aimlessly, no longer knowing what to do. In the tube, the ancient being opened their eyes again. Free, the voice whispered. Finally free, thank you. The war was over. In the weeks that followed, the galaxy rebuilt. The void swarm, without its controlling consciousness, became 1,000 small groups. Some died. Some simply drifted into empty space. They were no longer a threat. The ancient being, whose name had been lost to time, shared their knowledge freely. Technologies that advanced every species in the Union. Cures for diseases. Solutions to problems that had seemed unsolvable. And humanity. Humanity was offered leadership of the Galactic Union. Admiral Kang stood before the full council and gave his answer. We did not come to rule, he said simply. We came to help. We will continue to help as friends and partners, but we will not stand above you. The galaxy belongs to all of us, together. A memorial was built at the site of the nexus. Every name was carved into stone that would last forever. Human names, alien names, Captain Park Dongwu, Talvar of the Marathi, and thousands of others who gave their lives for strangers they had never met. Ambassador Choi Yun-bai signed the Unity Accords, officially welcoming humanity back into the galactic community. Dr. Beek-ha-na was honored as a hero of both human and alien civilizations. Na Uri became the first commander of the Integrated Union Defense Force. And on a small planet far from the center of everything, a Marathi elder gathered children around her for story time. They looked up at her with wide, curious eyes. "Tell us a story," they begged. "Tell us about the legends." The elder smiled. She remembered the dark days when the swarm seemed unstoppable. She remembered the moment human ships appeared in the sky. She remembered being saved by creatures from a fairy tale. "Once," she began, "humans were just a legend, strange beings from old stories. Nobody believed they were real." "But they were real," a small child interrupted excitedly. "Yes," the elder agreed, her eyes warm. "They were real. They came when we called for help. They fought beside us. They died for us. They saved us." "Are they gone now?" another child asked, worried. The elder laughed softly. "No, little one, they are still here. They live among us. They work with us. They are our friends." She looked up at the night sky where stars burned bright and eternal. "And whenever someone needs help, wherever someone is afraid and alone, the humans will be there. Because that is who they are. That is what legends do." The children listened in wonder. The stars shone above them. And somewhere in the endless dark of space, human ships still flew, still explored, still reached out to anyone who needed them. The legends had returned, and they would never leave again.